Welcome to Carlton's Math Corner. Today we are going to continue our study of ratios. First of all, please make sure that you have a smile on your face, you have a positive attitude towards learning, and make sure you have your math journal as well as your vocabulary packet out. Now let's talk about ratios first. What is a ratio? Well, it's a comparison of two numbers, and these two numbers are of the same unit. So if I'm comparing animals, I can compare cats to dogs. If I'm comparing fruit, I can compare apples to oranges. And we've talked about different ways that we can compare ratios. We can use a colon, we can use the word to, T-O, or we can create a fraction using these amounts. And so the first target that we are going to be is the following. So here's our target. It says I can write ratios in simplest form. And so what we're going to do is create ratios. So we're going to compare two numbers of similar units, and then we are going to simplify them. Kind of just very similar to as simplifying fractions. And so first of all, look at this information below. We have students that are going on a field trip, and it looks like they are going to a science museum of some sort. And we have students that are attending, 180 of them. Adults, which I'm assuming are chaperones, 24 of them. And they're transporting all of them using 4 buses. Now we're going to create ratios, and we're going to compare, it looks like 1 through 3, we're going to compare adults to students, students to people, and then adults to people. So let's start off with the first ratio. Let's compare adults to students. How many adults are traveling on this field trip to the number of students traveling? Yep, 24 adults to 180 students. Nice job. How about how many students are traveling compared to people? Now, what do they mean by people? Exactly. They are looking at the total people that went on this field trip. So we need to add 180 to 24 because we need to know how many students plus adults that are traveling. So students, there are 180, and how many total people are there? Yes, 204. Okay, so now how about adults to people? We have 24 adults to 204 people. Now, looking at these numbers, and I used a colon to write these ratios. We could use TO in between them, but a colon for me is just the quickest way to write it. And so that's how I chose to write my answers. Now, these ratios, though, are they in simplest form? Meaning, the numbers we are comparing, can they be simplified any further? Is there a factor of those numbers that they both share? And remember, factors are the numbers that we can multiply together to get each of these numbers. So like the factors of 24. What are the factors of 24? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. And so looking at all these factors, do any of them go into 180, or is 180 divisible by any of these numbers? Yeah, let's try. Let's try 2. Okay, let's just start off with a small one. And we could find their greatest common factor that they both share, or we could just find one of them that is in common and see if that is enough to simplify them. So if I divide both numbers by 2, what would I get as an answer? Well, we would get down to 12 to 90. Now, is that in simplest form? Is there a number that goes into both of them? Yeah, 2 again. So let's try 2. If I divide 12 by 2, I get 6. And 90 divided by 2, I get 45. Now, is there any number that goes into both of them? 3 actually goes into both of them. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And 45 divided by 3 is 15. Are there any factors? Now, factors of 2 are just 1 and 2. Do either of those numbers go into 15? No. So this answer, 2 to 15, is in simplest form, and that is my answer. So 2 to 15 is equivalent to 24 to 180. Actually, it's equivalent to all of these that we created, all these ratios. But since we want simplest form, 2 to 15 would be my answer. How about let's try 180 to 204. What would be it in simplest form? What could we divide it by? Okay, so let's start off 2. If I divide by 2, I get 90 and 102. And so it looks like we can divide again by 2. So we get 45 and 51. Anything else? Yeah, 3 would go into this. It goes in there 15 times and 17 times. And so looks like our answer in simplest form is 15 to 17. Now notice I said 15 to 17. This is not a fraction, so we can't say it's 15/17. It is a comparison of two numbers, students to people. Let's look at our last one. It says adults to people. So let's write this in simplest form. What goes into 24 and 204? Okay, so let's try 2 again. 12 and 102. How about let's divide by 2 again. I love it. So we get 6 and 51. And the numbers that go, for 6 and 51, 3 can go into both of those. And so let's divide both of it by 3. So we get 2 and 17. Now, if the larger the number that you choose to divide them by, the largest factor that you choose that's divisible by both numbers is going to get you to this simplest form the fastest. Now, the reason why I'm choosing a smaller factor is because I know 2 is the one that's most commonly used. 2, 3, 5, all those smaller factors. However, you may use larger factors that you know that goes into both of them. Okay? Let's look at a couple more problems. Write the ratio of 15 bikes to 9 skateboards in simplest form. Okay, so let's write 15 to 9. And if I want to write this ratio in simplest form, what could I divide both numbers by? Yes, 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5 to 9. Anything else that goes into these two numbers? Any other factors? Well, the factors of 5 are 5 and 1. And neither one of, well, 1 goes into 9, but that won't change the number. But 5 does not go in there. So this is simplest form. That is my answer. How about 36 inches? Write the ratio of 36 inches to 4 feet. If I am 36 to 4, would that be in simplest form? What could go into both of them? Exactly 4 will go into both those numbers. So we get 9 to 1. Nice job. What I would like you to do is I would like you to complete the 2 following problems. Write the ratio of 24 hair binders to 45 hair clips in simplest form, and then write the ratio of 56 roses to 48 tulips in simplest form. Thank you so much for joining me at Carleton's Math Corner, and I look forward to meeting with you again.